of example problems here and have us work through them together, and then I'll just increase the difficulty as needed. So let me just get to where I've got some of this stuff pulled up. This is one of the most common lessons that I give on 45, 45, 90, and then 30, 60, 90 triangles. So let's...
Yeah, the one on the quiz was 3060, I think.
Okay, so we're going to do a bunch of these. I'm going to snip in a few variations that you can see what's going on here. All right, there we go. Okay, so we got some problems upcoming. All right, let me get this to where there we go. Okay, so first question we're going to look at, this is a 45, 45, 90 triangle, and this is the easier case. How do you know that this is a 45, 45, 90 triangle? Do you see that these two angles are the same?
Yeah.
That's how you know that it's a 45, 45, 90. It doesn't just have to say 45 and 45. That's one way you can do that. They're telling you that this leg is 3. I know it doesn't ask for it, but what is the other leg down here? It's also 3.
Oh.
And that's because I'm going to just go back up to this reference triangle. I'm not sure if this is large enough for you to see. The legs are equal to each other. Whatever you have on each leg is exactly the same. Okay. Now the hypotenuse is, and I like it in words. It's the leg. It's whatever we get for the leg, and we multiply that times the square root of 2. So what is the leg?
3.
3. So the value of C here is 3 square root 2. Okay. All right, so let's do another one of these. All right, so if B equals 5, that's a leg down here. If B equals 5, solve for C. So this other leg is also 5. C is the leg times the square root of 2. So that means it's 5 square root 2.
Sorry, I'm gonna go get the door real quick.
Okay, sure.
Thank you. Okay, sorry about that.
No problem. So you're back, and what I'm trying to make clear here through two examples is whatever value I give you on the leg, to get the hypotenuse, you multiply by the square root of 2. Okay, so if it's a number, and we'll do one more here. I'll snip in one more, and I want you to be able to do this on your own here. Is whatever number I give you on the leg, to get the hypotenuse, you just simply multiply it by the square root of 2. So here I'm giving you the leg. I'm telling you that A is 10. Okay, this is 10. So what is C?
10 square root 2.
That's it. Okay, it's not any harder than that. All right.
Okay.
But what I can do is I can make the values on the leg a little bit more difficult. Okay, and I'm going to do that. I'm going to do that now. So like in this problem, I'm about to snip in. I'm still giving you a value on the leg. Okay, I'm telling you that A, which is a leg, is 6 square root 2. C, which is the hypotenuse, C is the leg, 6 square root 2 times the square root of 2. So do you know how to evaluate this?
I don't think so.
Okay, so the square root of a number times the square root of another number equals the square root of the numbers multiplied together but underneath the root. So in this
Okay.
case, it's the square root of 4. Do you know that value? 2. Square root of 4 is 2. I'm sure you've seen that.
Yeah.
Okay, so C is 12. Okay, so kind of as a related thing, if you have the square root of A times the square root of A, meaning itself, it becomes just A. All right,
Okay.
so if you understood that, let's try another example here. Sorry, I gotta just grab another question here.
No, that's okay.
All right, snipping these in. There is a method to this. We're going to get to 30, 60, 90s, but we got to get through this first to make it clear what we're doing. So this is a problem for you to try. I'm giving you a leg again. I'm telling you that the leg is 11 square root 2. C is the leg times the square root of 2, meaning you have to do an additional square root of 2 with it.
Can you repeat the last thing you said? Sorry.
Yeah, you take the value of the leg is the square root of 2, and then you multiply it by the square root of 2. You take
Okay.
the leg, which is this value, and you multiply it by the square root of 2. So from the previous problem, you should see that this is 11 times the square root of 4. And since the square root of 4 equals 2, this is 11 times 2, or 22 total.
Okay.
Let's do one more here. Okay, so give this one a try.
I got 8.
Yes, h equals 8. Very good. Okay, so let's do, so the other type of problem you might get here, and this is a change from what we've been doing. Instead of giving you a leg, I give you a hypotenuse. All right, and let me show you a question like that. So here again, it's a 45, 45, 90 triangle. The reason we know it's a 45, 45, 90 triangle is if the two legs are the same, that means the two angles have to be the same. If the two angles are the same, then they both have to be 45. So all we're doing right now, we're all doing 45, 45, 90 triangles. Okay. Now this time though, I'm giving you the hypotenuse and I'm asking you to solve for a leg. Okay. Now this is something that I have in these worksheets that we're working from is I always say set the known side. The known side is this 10 root 2 equal to the reference. Well, what do I mean by that? Well, let me go back and snip in the reference triangle. I'll grab this for you. So the reference triangle here, again, it's going to be what is x root 2. Do you follow that, where that value came from on the hypotenuse there?
Yeah, I think so. Oh, yeah, yeah.
Okay, great. So now the next step is you solve for x. So if it's not already clear, x is the number in front of the square root.
Mhm.
So x equals 10. Well, what is x? X is the leg. X is 10 there, and that is 10 there.
Oh, wow. Okay.
Okay, so let's do another one here, and we'll see if that is clear. Um, okay, so again, this is a 45, 45, 90 triangle because I'm telling you one of the angles is 45, one is 90, therefore the other one must be 45 degrees, okay? But I'm telling you that the hypotenuse is 5 square root 2. And what I always write is you set the known side equal to the reference side. So in this case, your known side is 5 square root 2 and your reference side is x square root 2. If you want to solve for x, which is the next step, you're going to divide both sides by the square root of 2. You'll see that these cancel and that x is equal to 5. It's the same thing as x is the number in front of the square root of 2. This 5 is the leg. Because we said this in the previous rounds. Remember we said take the leg and multiply it by the square root of 2?
Yeah.
Okay. All right, so if that is clear, we're going to do a slightly more difficult problem, but related. And I promise we're going to get to 30, 60, 90s. We just got to do one or two more of these, and then we'll get to 30, 60, 90s.
Okay.
But they're very much the same. You end up multiplying or dividing, and you have to be comfortable doing that. So here they tell you that the hypotenuse is 18. Okay. And this is a 45, 45, 90 because the two legs are the same. That means that this is 45 degrees because that angle is the same as that angle, and that's 45 degrees. So as I said before, you set the known side, which is 18, equal to the reference side, which is x square root 2. So now it's not as simple as just saying, oh, it's the number in front of the root 2. You actually have to divide both sides by the square root of 2. And you may or may not have seen this before. I assume you have, because this is what you do in this part of the class. But do you know what to do to reduce
No.
or what's called rationalize? Have you heard of that?
I think so, yeah.
Okay, so you multiply the top and the bottom by the square root of 2 because that's what's there. You multiply it by itself. So up top here, it's just 18 square root of 2. Okay, but on the bottom, what is the square root of 2 times the square root of 2? We did that in a previous problem. We said the square root of a times the square root of a equals a. So what is the square root of 2 times the square root of 2?
Square root of
Square root of 4, which is
2.
2. Okay. Now you can divide. You can divide and get 9 square root 2 here. So b is 9 square root 2. So remember how we said you take the leg and you multiply it by the square root of 2 to get 18?
Yeah.
Well, let's see if that works. 9 square root of 2 times the square root of 2. What does that equal? Well, the square root of 2 times the square root of 2 is the square root of 4. Square root of 4 is 2, and that does in fact equal 18. All right, so let's do one more before we move on to 30, 60, 90s. All right, so this is kind of just like the previous problem. If C equals 16, solve for B. So we're going to set 16 equal to x square root 2, and then you're going to divide both sides by square root 2. So x ends up equaling 16 over square root 2. Now, do you remember what we did in the previous problem for this?
We rationalized it.
Yes, and you do that by multiplying the top and bottom by the square root of 2. If it were the square root of 3 down here, you would multiply top and bottom by the square root of 3.
Okay.
Because that gets rid of that square root. So this becomes 16 square root 2 over what value?
Over 2.
2, and then 16 divided by 2 is 8. 8 square root 2. So that's B. Okay, do you feel comfortable with these, sort of?
I feel more comfortable because that's actually I found our test problem too.
Okay.
I had it written down in a notebook while I was working on it.
Are you able to send that to me by email? Take a picture and send it to me by email doing
Yeah, or actually I can oh yeah, I can do that. Yeah, let me do that.
in the meantime, what I'd like to show you is I actually put up some free references that I think would help you with this topic.
Thank you.
So let me just show you here where they are. If you go to my website where you booked or your parents booked, there's a student resources page, and you'll see the reference sheet for 45, 45, 90 triangles and then 30, 60, 90 triangles. But what you'll really want, or what you'll really like, are these practice worksheets here for 45, 90 triangles and 30, 60, 90 triangles. That you can just download them. You don't have to give it. They're totally free, and you can just work through them. And you'll see all the variations. That's what we've been working through. Is I've been pulling questions from this for us to look at. But we'll move to 30, 60, 90 triangles now, and I'll wait for you to send me something. But we can certainly get started on some other stuff here as well.
Okay.
This is a 30, 60, 90 reference triangle, and X is always referred to as the short leg. This X root 3 is referred to as the long leg, and then the 2X is the hypotenuse. Keep in mind that you can actually orient this triangle in a bunch of different ways. So for example, sometimes you'll see the reference drawn this way, where the short leg is up here. It should be substantially shorter than the other leg. And then the other thing that I think it maybe isn't clear is the 30 degrees is always across from the x. So 30 degrees is here, and then 60 degrees is across from the x root 3.
Yeah, that's the thing. I was like, these two legs should not be close. And when I was doing the test, they came out the same, and I was like,
Yeah,
no.
yeah, and that's a big difference here. So, are you close to sending me some questions, or you just want me to work through this worksheet
Yeah,
questions?
I'm about to send it to you. It was
Okay.
only one question on the quiz. Um, so yeah.
If you just reply to the booking email, that's the fastest way to get it over to me.
Okay. Sorry, it's so slow. It's about to send, I think.
All right, great.
Okay, I think it just sent.
All right, I will check that out.
They wanted on that problem it was solve for x and solve for y
Right.
with angle and then the hypotenuse given.
Yeah, so I consider this like a level 2 question where they give you the hypotenuse. We would want to build up to that question, but
Okay.
we'll do this and then we'll kind of work backwards. So if you look at this reference triangle I've drawn, they're giving you the hypotenuse. Can you see my screen? Can you see your image in
Yeah, I
there?
can.
Okay. They're giving you the hypotenuse. The hypotenuse is the 2x side. And that comes from this picture up above here. You know, the hypotenuse is 2x, the hypotenuse is 2x, okay? So when you solve for x, you divide both sides by 2. So x equals 7.5. But, this is very important, but what we solve for is what's called the reference x, which is actually the short leg.
Oh.
Is x the short leg? And see, this one's not drawn correctly for whatever. I mean, they've really not given you any help here, at least the way this is drawn.
Yeah,
X is actually the long leg,
Oh.
and y is the short leg.
Oh.
So this right here is actually 7.5. All right, is that clear up until this point?
Yes.
Okay, now to find the long leg, and I do this in words, the long leg is equal to the short leg times the square root of 3. So you take whatever you have for the short leg and you multiply it by the square root of 3. Now, sometimes you can't do anything with it, but you can just, um, you can, you just leave it as is. So like the short leg is 7.5 times the square root of 3, because this is 7.5, and you just can't do anything with it.
Oh.
All right, is that okay?
Yeah.
All right. So this type of question is one of the more difficult ones where they actually mix X and Y because you're used to these reference X value. But let's do a few more of these because I think you really get a lot out of it. Unless there's other stuff you'd like to cover, because this lesson is totally for you. So is it
No,
okay?
the what we're working on is really good. What I need.
Okay, fantastic. So we're actually going to go back and we're going to just do easier questions to start out. And when I say easier, what I mean is like the numbers are nice, and there's kind of a sequence to doing this every time. That
Okay.
way, you're like, okay, I get it. Like you understand what you're supposed to be doing, because there's a recipe really for each of these. So in this picture here, is A the short leg or the long leg?
Short.
Short leg, because it's across from the 30 degrees. So the short leg is 3. You always find the hypotenuse from the short leg. The hypotenuse is double the short leg. And what is the short leg?
3.
3. So it's 2 times 3, which is 6. The long leg, this is the long leg. It is the short leg. The long leg, let me write over here. The long leg is the short leg times the square root of 3. What is the short leg? It's 3. So you multiply it by the square root of 3. So this is 3 square root 3. All right, so let's do another one here. All right, so again, which side of the triangle are they giving you? Long leg, short leg, or the hypotenuse?
Short leg.
Short leg. Short leg is 5. The hypotenuse is double the short leg. So what is the hypotenuse?
10.
10. And then the long leg is the short leg times the square root of 3. So that's,
5 square root 3.
yes. All right, good. So now let's just increase the difficulty slightly. Well, I'm gonna throw in a few little wrinkles, and you tell me if this is too much. But um, you look at this question, and I want you to decide which side are they giving you? Are they giving you the short leg, long leg, or hypotenuse in this question?
Um, the the long leg.
So
Is
this
it?
is 30 degrees, and the short leg is always across from 30 degrees.
Oh, I got confused with the square root thing because I was
Right.
like,
Yeah. So then that's one of the next little wrinkles that they can do is you can get a number that doesn't look quite right, but you're given the short leg. What is the hypotenuse? It's double the short leg. So you double this number in front. So that's 24 square root 3. S is the long leg. Do you agree with that?
yes,
And it's the short leg times the square root of 3. So that's 12 square root 3 times the square root of 3. Now we kind of did this in the 45, 45, 90 triangles. What is the square root of a number times the square root of a number? That is the same.
um, both of the numbers multiplied under the square root.
But then it reduces to just itself.
Oh, okay.
So the square root of 3 times the square root of 3 is the square root of 9, but what is the square root of 9?
3.
3. And 12 times 3 is
36.
36. Let's have you try another one here. I want you to try this one on your own. It is easier than the one we just did. It's more clear which side they're giving you, but I want you to find the other two sides, please.
Okay. So if I multiplied square root 3 and root 3, um, the it would come out to those multiplied without the square root symbol.
That's right.
Okay.
So I should get 30 down here if you're what I heard is correct.
Oh, I think I messed up somewhere because I got 90.
Okay, well, you said the right things. You said 10 square root of 3 times the square root of 3. So that's 10 times the square root of 9. What is the square root of 9?
Oh, okay. Okay. I did 10 times 9. I thought the square root disappeared or something. Like I don't even know.
It does go away, but only after you apply it. So um,
Okay, I got it.
what did you get for t here?
20 root 3.
Good. Okay, let's do. Uh, we got to do one more of these because the you got to really have this down, and then we'll move to another level of this, which will be closer to your quiz.
Okay.
Um, all right, so f is 4 square root 3. Is f the short leg?
Yes.
It is, yes. So I want you to find g and h, please.
Okay. Okay, I got 12 for G and I
Okay,
got 8 root 3 for H.
perfect. Excellent. Okay, so let's move to what I call level 2, and you'll see this on the worksheet if you go back to the website where you booked tutoringbymatthew.com. Totally free, so you can download them and work some of these out. But this is the different variation of the problem. So this time I'm not giving you the short leg, I'm giving you the hypotenuse. So this is where you have to set the known side equal to the reference side. And we haven't had one up in a while, but the hypotenuse is 2x. So you set 6 equal to 2x.
Oh yeah.
And if you're not sure where that comes from, that's the reference triangle. Let me grab a snip of it here. Snip that in. Oh, maybe that's not viewable. So see how the hypotenuse is 2x, and that's what you're given as the hypotenuse.
Okay.
So you can immediately solve for x. You divide both sides by 2. So what does x equal?
It's 3. Wait. Oh, wait.
3. Sorry, yeah, 3. Now this x is the short leg. So whenever you get x, you have to think I'm getting the short leg, which is 3, because 3 is across from 30 degrees. So b here is the short leg times the square root of 3. So it's 3 square root 3. Because you take whatever your short leg is and you just multiply it by the square root of 3. If you were able to follow that, we can do another one here like it.
Yeah, I got that one. And then you can't do anything to the 3 root 3, right?
Nope, nope, not in this one. Yeah, not in this one. So um, all right, so I want you to try this question. It's very much the same, but it's different numbers. And I'll snip in the reference triangle to go with it. Okay, so give that a go here. They're giving you the hypotenuse. See if you can find A, B, and C.
For A, I have 6,
Okay,
and
agreed.
B is 6 root 3.
Perfect. So really not that difficult. Now, like, so you might be thinking you got it. Well, what I can do now is make these problems a bit more difficult with the numbers. So we're going to do a couple of those, and then we'll move on to the last, what I call level. What we're really doing are all the possible cases of this. Like, what are all the possible problems your instructor might give you? And then the only thing that would change would be the numbers when you do this. So, so this time I'm giving you the hypotenuse 16 square root 3. Okay. And R is the short leg. R is the short leg. So sometimes use SL for short leg. Um, so now you set the known side, which is the hypotenuse, equal to 2x. When you divide both sides by 2, you get that x equals 8 square root 3, and x is the short leg. So this R is the 8 square root 3. So the thing I think you stumbled upon in the last time we did it, um, the last time we did it is they could have square root 3's anywhere. It doesn't have to just be the long leg. And we're going to see that now because the long leg S is the short leg times the square root of 3. So the short leg is 8 square root 3 times the square root of 3. And from previous problems here, hopefully you see that you can do this. The square root of 3 times the square root of 3 is?
Square root of 9.
Which is 3. So
Mm-hmm.
that becomes 24.
Okay. Okay, I get that one.
Great. So we're going to do, I'm going to have you do one example on your own, and then we'll move maybe to the last level here. We're skipping a lot of problems. I mean, these worksheets have a ton of practice problems on them. So you can, and there's actually even more difficult ones than what we're doing, but this is kind of the starter pack, if you will, where you get, get your, get comfortable with it. So
Yeah.
find the,
I got 10 square root 3.
Good.
And then for S, I got 30.
Yes, perfect. Okay, you got it. So now we're going to move to the last level. Last level is when I give you the long leg. Okay, so there's actually 3 different cases or 3 different levels for these problems. I either give you the short leg, hypotenuse, or long leg. And so far we've done where I give you the short leg, then we did the hypotenuse, and now we're going to do where I start with the long leg. So the path here is like if I give you the short leg, you find the hypotenuse, and then you generally find the long leg. Then we did problems where I gave you the hypotenuse, and you find the short leg to find the long leg.
Mm-hmm.
And then this last set of questions is what we're doing now, where I give you the long leg, you first find the short leg and then the hypotenuse. But I'll talk you through this, and this picture may not make any sense, but it will after you've worked through a bunch of these. You actually will totally get what I'm talking about here.
Okay.
So here I'm giving you 4 square root 3 as B. This is the long leg. It's the long leg because it's across from 60 degrees.
Mm.
And just like with the hypotenuse, you set the long leg equal to its reference side, x square root 3. And if you're not sure where that comes from, again, that's the reference triangle. So the long leg in the reference triangle is x square root 3 right there. So that's why you set it equal to that. So you solve for x by dividing both sides by the square root of 3. So x equals 4. And this is the short leg. It may not be the same x in your picture. This is kind of what threw you off on your quiz, is your instructor switched where x and y are located. So which is the short leg in your picture here? Well, A is. So A is 4. Now this should make sense because if you multiply the short leg by the square root of 3, you get 4 square root of 3, which is B.
Mm.
And then C is double the short leg, which is 8.
Oh, okay.
All right, so let me give you one to try on your own. And then we'll just increase the difficulty slightly if you get this one done.
Okay.
And then let me copy this in as well. Sorry, and I'm moving lots of stuff around. Okay. All right, so give this a go, please. See if you can come with those values.
So A would be 5 and C would be 10.
Very good. Okay, so now you're probably thinking you got it, but let's increase the difficulty slightly, and we'll see if you really do. So in this question that I'm about to snip in, the long leg does not have a root 3. And that's how the instructors make these problems more difficult. B is 12. B is the long leg because it's across from the 60 degrees. Okay. You set the known side, which is B, equal to the reference side, which is x squared root 3. To solve for x, you divide both sides by the square root of 3. So x equals 12 divided by the square root of 3. Now we did this with 45, 45, 90s. What do you do here to get the root out of the bottom? Do you remember?
Multiply.
By the square root of 3. So this becomes 12 square root 3 over the square root of 9, which is 3. So then you divide 12 by 3 and get 4 square root 3. And this is the short leg. No matter what, you can't say it's x. You have to say, okay, it's the short leg. The short leg is 4 square root 3. And then to find the hypotenuse, you double the short leg.
Okay.
All right, so let me just make sure I can get you there. I'm just going to share my screen here, different view. If you go to where you tutoringbymatthew.com, where you got the lesson, it's under student resources. And then you just want to, you can either click on worksheets or go down here. I would really recommend you get both of these, just work through the problems.
Okay.
It'll really help. Even if you just do, 10 minutes on each, you're going to just know so much more.
Okay, thank you.
So this does end our lesson for today. I will send out the notes and the screen recording here shortly. Thanks again for scheduling, and I'll see you next time.
Thank you a lot. Bye.
You're welcome. Bye now.